Okay, so here are the control panels for the east and westbound staging yards, and it's kind of hard. I'm right up against the wall here, so I can't really get back too far, but there are a number of problems that you may be able to pick up on right away. First of all, I've selected the main. This is the main, then we have tracks 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. I've selected the main when it's lit up, but this is also saying that track 10 is lit up. So you can ignore that. This is the fact that these two are both lit up is a function of how the control system is laid out, and this diagram doesn't really match how the turnouts are configured. This seems to suggest that you come in through the main turnout, and if you go straight you go to track 10, and if you take the alternate route you're going to go over here down this ladder. But in fact, if you go straight you come over to the main, and then as you take the alternating route, so this is kind of mirror image. So the fact that those are both on is not a problem, but if you can see over here, it's really, I guess you can see it here, this is on the westbound side on the entrance. This one's lit up, this one's lit up, and this one's lit up. So clearly something's wrong here, because this, not all three of these can be selected at the same time. You still do have the same situation where you're going to have the two, because the last turnout, which is selecting between track 8 and 10 on the eastbound side, it lights up depending just on which way the tortoise is thrown. It doesn't matter. There's not actually, it doesn't mean that you've actually selected that route, but when you select anything over here, then this turnout actually goes to the straight through direction, which or to the reverse direction, and so that's what you see here. So again, this one is actually the last turnout in the ladder. So what happens is, depending upon which track it's thrown for, you either going to have that track is going to show as being selected, but it doesn't match this diagram, which can be very confusing for a new operator. And I'm going to try to work on finding a solution to that. You can see here we have these toggle switches which control. You can turn the power off. The green indicators, the green LEDs indicate whether the track has power. So center position means the track is off manually. You can turn it on manually, or you can set it to auto, which means it should get power if either the exit switch is set to that track, meaning give it power, or if the entrance is selected and these red dots indicate the red LEDs indicate the infrared sensors that detect the train coming to the end of the track. So if that triggers, then it turns power off that's coming from the input selection, but you can then, if you select the output switch, then you get power and you can actually run the train out. The panel's got a number of problems, and give me a second, I'll go down and show you what it is I have to work. Before I do that, let me flip the panels up and you can get an idea of what they look like underneath. We've got, these are a couple of resistor packs in here that provide pull-ups for the different inputs. All of the LEDs are tied through those to plus 12 volts, and then the ground is what's actually controlled to control whether the LEDs come on or not. And the other panel looks identical. So give me a second, let me go down and show you where all of the brains of this operation is at. Okay, so now I'm under the layout, and right here where you can see those bundles of wires coming down off of the table, that's where the control panels are, right up there. So all of those wires that come from the control panels ultimately come through these bundles, come across over here, and then they come into this. So this is controlling the staging yard. That's what all of this is. So these are the relays controlling power to the individual tracks. This is your westbound main, tracks 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and then you have your eastbound main, track 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So you can see right now the eastbound main has power and track 10 has power. All of these terminal blocks are the cables coming from the switch machines. So you've got, this is your westbound, so these cables here that you can see run all the way down to the other side of the staging yard. These here are running up and going to the tortoises that are all right above my head, because I'm literally sitting underneath the eastbound side of staging. Here, these are all connections to the IR sensors that control whether the track has power based upon whether there's a train triggering it This over here is all of the track occupancy detectors. So these are track detectors. These are based on if there's current flowing in that section of track, then these are triggering, and these are what we're turning on, the amber LEDs, which I really didn't talk about on the control panel. So we have, these are the track detection signals. These are all the, you can see we have diode matrices here controlling each end of each yard. So you have east and westbound entrance, east and westbound exit, and these are all controlling the tortoise motors. So these little boards, based upon the output of the diode matrix, you switch the tracks and you get that. So all of this is what I have to work with in order to try to figure out what's wrong with the panel. So everything is based on the positions of the tortoise switch machines and going through different relays. So this is what I've been working on for the last couple of weeks. I've made some progress, but still a ways to go. I thought I had the eastbound side all working, but I came in today to do some testing and I found that in fact I do still have a couple of problems with track power either not shutting off when it should or track power staying on when it should go off. So back to the drawing board. So here's the new style panel that we're trying to move all of the older panels to. So you can see this one is much cleaner, looks a lot better, and does a better job representing the actual track plan layout. So this is our Mill Junction and Philadelphia East panel. Even though I'm upgrading or refurbishing the existing staging panel, ultimately it's going to get replaced, and all of those mechanical relays that you saw that are controlling all of the turnout throws will be replaced with an NCE mini panel. Here is Central Station. This is our main passenger terminal on the CLO layout. Down here we have our steel facility, and this whole section of the layout is actually designed to be raised up by those, see those cables up there? There are some key tie-down points on this upper section right here where you hook, you can see it back there, if I can zoom in, right there behind the, right there, that's a hook, and so there's a couple of those, and by using those we can actually lift this whole section up in order to get to the staging yard, which is under here. So here you can see the here's the actual steel facility. Someone put a lot of work on here. This is really nicely done. Some additional support facilities. And here's the entrance and exit from one end of the staging yards. It comes down through. We have a diesel facility here. Comes through another small yard. This used to be an intermodal yard, but that got changed apparently several years ago. Come down here, and then we have, this is an operating carnival. When the power's on, all the rides spin and light up, and there's this small N-scale train here that actually runs around the loop of track, stops every time at the station to let the passengers get on and off. Very popular with the kids. Over on this side we have our Slobber Knocker Ale facility. And this section of the layout here, this is actually the Reading line that comes out over there by Mill Junction, comes all the way down here, runs under Daly Yard. Daly Yard is the yard here. That's 30th Street Station over there. And then we have our power plant facility down here, along with the wharf. And then trains disappear into these tunnel portals down here, and then ultimately we'll come out over there on the mountain section. So here's a view of Daly Yard, and another view of 30th Street Station. Those are the mainline tracks there towards the back, come through, and the main line disappears into that tunnel portal behind the roundhouse. Here you can see the roundhouse facility. This up here is part of the mountain branch. So the main line, after disappearing behind the roundhouse, comes over here. Comes around down past the coal yard, and we've got an operating rotary coal tipple here. It's always a big hit with the visitors during the open house. And then we've got main line comes around here. Up here, those back tracks up there that you can see, those are part of the branch line as well, the mountain branch I mean. So the main line comes down, it's running under here, then it's going to come out, comes, oh, sorry, that's by way too fast, comes out around into here, goes up the very steep grade, and then finally crosses the trestle, disappears into the tunnels there, and from there it goes, ends up coming all the way back out over there. I'll show you that. So it comes, it disappears, and that ends up coming out right here, down these tracks there. So then the main line continues around and then heads back down that way and back around to Mill Junction where we were before. Anyway, that's just a quick tour of the Burlington County Model Railroad Club layout. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoyed seeing the panel that I'm working on.